This is The Space Shot, episode 200 for November 30th, 2017. STS-97. Hey everyone, welcome to The Space Shot, your daily space history, pop culture, and news fix. I'm John Molnix. 200 days ago, I set out to podcast every day for an entire year, and we are well along in this daily endeavor. It's only fitting that we're talking about the Space Shuttle Endeavour and the STS-97 mission on this day. The Space Shuttle Endeavour is named after the HMS Endeavour, the ship that then Lieutenant James Cook commanded on a voyage to Australia and New Zealand, among other places. The HMS Endeavour's expedition around the world also included a stop at the island of Tahiti to record the transit of Venus across the Sun in 1769. Another spacecraft to bear the name Endeavour was the Command Service Module on the Apollo 15 mission. If you've followed the podcast, you'll know that I just saw the Space Shuttle Endeavour. You can check out the Facebook page for the Space Shot to see some of those pictures. During the STS-97 mission, a crew of 5 astronauts spent 10 days in space, delivering a massive new truss and solar panel assembly to the International Space Station. The P6 truss, as it's called, might not sound all that impressive, but if you've seen the space station flying overhead, it's probably because you've seen sunlight reflected off of one of the massive solar panels on the space station, some of which are located on the P6 truss. The P6 truss weighs roughly 35,000 pounds, making it one of the heaviest payloads that the space shuttle ever took into orbit. The 2 massive 115-foot-long solar arrays were stored inside small containers. These accordion-style solar panels fold up into an incredibly compact size. I'm linking to a video in the show notes that details the deployment of the panels, so check that out. 4 of these trusses, each with 4 solar panels each, provide power to the space station, as well as smaller panels located in different spots. Even though Endeavour was docked to the International Space Station for nearly a week, the crew of the shuttle only interacted with the crew of Expedition 1 for a day. They kept the docking hatch closed to allow the shuttle to keep the pressure needed for spacewalks. With the installation of the P6 truss and solar arrays complete, and supplies transferred to the International Space Station, it was time for Endeavour to head back to Earth. The 5 astronauts on the shuttle left their fellow explorers on the station and slowly backed away. This allowed Endeavour to photograph the work they had just accomplished and to snap some incredible pictures of the then really brand new space station. Speaking of new, there's a lot of you that are new here, and I just wanted to talk about why I started the podcast in the first place. I set a challenge for myself that I would produce a podcast every day for a year, and we're well on the way to reaching that goal. I've always been interested in space, history, pop culture, and storytelling, and I decided I wanted to do something about it. I want to pass along my sincere thanks to everyone that listens to the podcast. It's kind of crazy to think that I've been researching, writing, and recording episodes for 200 days now. I don't have super precise locations for everyone, but I can tell you that listeners now come from 6 continents, almost every state in the Union, and over 30 countries. Sadly, I don't have any data on if anyone from Antarctica is listening, so if you're there, say hi. The next 165 days are going to be incredibly busy. I'm going to be giving a presentation in April at the Cosmosphere in Hutchinson, Kansas, and I'll have more on that over the coming months. I'm also working on a few other projects that will be announced soon, and I'm incredibly excited about all of this. I can't wait to share all of that content with you. It would mean the world to me if you could leave a review for the podcast and the Cosmosphere podcast on iTunes. Reviews are the lifeblood of podcasts, so get your parents, your friends, anyone with an Apple device to leave a review on iTunes. Android listeners, you can still leave reviews as well. They're all appreciated. This podcast will always be available for free, so the thing you could do if you want to pay me would be to share the podcast with your friends and make sure you follow The Space Shot on Facebook. If you'd like to take a picture of where you listen to the podcast and share it on Facebook, I'd love if you would tag me. Just don't do it while you're driving. Remember, it can wait. As always, the show notes have more information on today's episode. You can hit me up on Instagram and Twitter. Find me at John Molnix. I'm always up to chat. You can also connect with me on Facebook. Just search The Space Shot or click the link in the show notes. Tomorrow, Hubble. I'm John Molnix, and I'll catch you on the flip side.